Hello there, free enterprise community. Welcome to our Monday community race featuring an Edge versus the Blue Planet flag set. We got our runners today, Coffee and Chocobos, Fried Potato, Mecha Link, and Pixel Crimes Live. My name is CS Radical. I'm joined by Skull Kitty in the Restream booth, Fiery Blizzard in the tracker, and my co-host for this evening's race, Engine Dave. Dave, what do you think about this flag set we're looking at? We look like we're going to have a pretty fast race, but what do you see?
Oh, we ran this on Monday. It was speedy then. It was speedy on Friday. I'm expecting the same thing tonight.
I hope everybody bought their Sonic shoes with them, all the rings they need, everything you need to make this go supersonic speed, because this is going to be a very, very fast flag set. You don't really have to ever do anything on the moons, so you can take that completely away. You just got the Blue Planet and the Underground to deal with, and just 5 objectives. So depending on how the seed runs this out, this could either be really, really fast or really aggravating for our runners if there's a really nice chain.
Or, I think the thing we're hoping for, a lovely gauntlet in Sealed Cave.
And a harp.
Oh, and a required harp, of course.
Yeah, exactly. All the key things we need here.
Yeah, we're not... This is win games. We won't be getting Zeromus tonight, so we want one of the big randomized features.
Yeah, and for those who are familiar with the flag set, you're going to have a couple of interesting things here. Maximum party size is only to 3, but you are getting a starting edge, so you at least have your damage done. Other than that, apart from things like Sirens not being in shops, for the most part, this flag set is a really beginner-friendly flag set, and it just becomes a matter of who is just optimizing the best in this race altogether. Obviously, our 4 runners here on stream, and I didn't catch the number of total runners that we have, but we did get quite a few from what I saw in the race room, so we'll definitely have a lot to work with.
Yeah, it appears we'll have 21 people racing tonight.
Yeah, that's a few.
So what are you hoping for that runner start with?
For a starting item, honestly, just for fun, I hope it's the 1-0. I hope it's just the one non-key item. Just to give them a little bit of a stress to start.
Or how about the crystal?
Okay, fine, I'll take the joke. I'll take the other key item joke. That works.
Like, oh, we can go beat... No, you can't.
Well, we're off in... Oh, power couple already from the very beginning. And, well, I guess that's also a useless item.
Not quite the crystal I was thinking of.
We both forgot about it, and then we realized, oh wait, nope, there were 3 options.
Hey, the game heard me request a crystal. It just said, not quite the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, the game was like, you didn't specify which color you wanted.
You'd think, from playing D&D, I'd realize you gotta be specific when dealing with wishes and genies, because they will always do that to you.
So you have to imagine now our runners are all going to beeline straight to Edward, see what that free key item is, and hope that, Bedward at least is giving up something nicely. Everybody doing that except for Mecha Link, who looks to be doing some treasure chest, maybe peeking in what Baronin might be pulling off there. But otherwise, we're going to see very shortly what Bedward's holding for us.
There's a second edge in there.
Well, there's an early magma. So it wasn't the first key item, but it might as well be when it's about a minute in.
Yep. So, I gotta ask, are dupes on in this flag set?
I don't believe so. Let me just quickly take my trusty cheat sheet and find out for us. Oh, there are dupes. Well then, I guess we have twin edges now.
Yep. We're gonna have a double edge in this seed.
But can I interest you in triple edge?
I'm not sure if we're interested in Triangle Man tonight.
But we see a bit of deviation now. We have Pixel Crimes out in Castle Lab. We already found a ribbon. There's a nice addition. We have Coffee and Chocobos following suit. Whereas meanwhile, Fried Potato immediately going underground.
Yeah, I like the immediate underground play here.
Yeah, I mean, treasure-wise, Castle Lab already looking pretty good. Like I said, the aforementioned ribbon. We also saw, I believe, a heron robe and a life staff. So if you find a white mage, you're pretty well covered. And if you want to have a really, really mean Rosa or Iridia just to smack things, you got that.
And you can't discount the Drain Spear I saw Coffee and Chocobos pick up. That is 2,200 damage you were looking at.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like Mechalink either had an issue or needed to reset with the Baron Inboss and forgot to save, so starting right from scratch, that's a shame. You hate to see that. But I mean, raise your hand in chat if you've done that before.
Raising my guy a hat. Cheers to that group.
As a member, I accept this.
What a ninja star. Evelyn Castle is a castle of darts.
And when you have at least 2 edges on the field, that is exactly what you want to see right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a large part of our runner's offense tonight. Just darts, darts, more darts.
We've seen Mechalink again going right back to Baron in. That Water Hag, I believe, is what gave Mecha some trouble in that. Trying again. Looks like should be able to get through it this time. And then we'll see what happens on the second side.
It may have been the second boss that did it, because I don't think something edge needs to pop 3 times within the problem.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see what happened there initially, so we'll see what that second boss was again.
Oh, Thamar's freebies the hook. That is required.
So far, the seed being pretty well, minus the beginning, but being pretty generous with the way that things are being given away. It's pretty interesting, too, how the first 3 key items we've come across are all things that give you access to different parts of the map.
That it is. Okay, Dark Elf may have been a week from the Dark Elf, and then something else that got off before Edge fell to it.
Ah, yes, I definitely could have done it. Yeah, that would definitely do it.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, that fight just does not want to cooperate this early in the game.
And the problem there is Rydia's only got 4 agility, so you're not really slowing that spot down having her anchoring.
No, not particularly. So, gonna move on. Looks like Antlion is the next best bet. We're gonna see Coffee and Chocobos trying to do the same thing. We'll see if maybe he can do a little bit differently, although sit with the same exact party, I can't imagine it being much better unless you're darting your way out of it.
There is a big difference in Coffee and Chocobo's setup.
Yeah.
CNC is anchoring with Edge, so that Dark Elf is going to be slow.
We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, looks like Fried Potato continuing all the free stuff right now, doing the Sheila checks. I mean, you've got quite a bit of the map open to you. Might as well take care of all the stuff that requires no effort right now and see what you can find.
Yeah, true, I like being lazy.
Don't we all?
I can get stuff without having to work. Sign me up.
Exactly. Well, there goes the Water Hag on Coffee and Chocobo side. We'll see how the Dark Elf goes for him. We'll see with Fried Potato now and Fabul if he does both the Fabul check and Sheila 1. I imagine that you'd have to do both.
We've seen CNC just immediately chucking a Ninja Star to Dark Elf to get the Dragon form.
Now, anything to make this easier? Oh, yeah, no, you just keep throwing darts. Yeah, that'll do it.
And you can just swing here. That Dragon form's almost gone.
Yeah, and I don't believe... Does the Dragon side still have the weak spell?
No, it just alternates Punch and Dragon Breath.
So yeah, it would have been much easier after getting past that first stage. So yeah, that is done. And hey, there's a harp.
I don't believe... I haven't been looking at the shops yet. I didn't look at the shops when people were in them, so I don't know if any darts have been found underground.
Not that I have seen yet. So in the meantime, Fried Potato getting through that Fabul boss fight. We saw the officers go down real quick. CPU also an Antlion. That is a great spot to see that annoyance with a really low HP amount.
So I appreciate Fried Potato's naming right now. It just seems to repeat it a few times.
So Sam Ruby out of Antlion and the Pan out of Fabul. That is going to be a little bit painful if you're Fried Potato, because now you got to do that whole path all over again.
Yep. And right now, Potato's got Go Ninja, so we need a few more for Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
And not even bothering with Sheila 1, because what's the point? You're going to have to go right back anyway.
Yeah, I don't blame our runners for doing this. You get the underground access right away, you want to check out what's down there.
Well, yeah, and this early in the race, like, you might as well, assuming that you know you can optimize the rest of the way through, you get all the free stuff out of the way now, you might find all the direction that you want, and all of a sudden you're doing far less work.
It's a very true point.
Obviously, we've got the pan already down now, so that's taken care of. You got the hooks, you're halfway to a rat tail being taken away. So you're almost in a pretty good spot now, and with Sheila 1 and 2, that's a good chance to also get a couple of key items that are really going to open the seat up for you. So this is going very, very well, depending on how the key items shake out.
Oh, we see Cecil taking a nap.
So that would likely mean we're going to see an Ordeals trip very shortly on Mechalink's side, you would imagine, if you're taking that Cecil. And an Old Man at Hobbs and Pixel Crimes, at the very least, is electing to not bother.
It makes perfect sense. You already have a fantastic anchor in Rydia. I don't know. Rydia Cecil Edge seems like a good party to me. How about you?
I mean, if you come across a nice sword, which we already know that there is at least a defense sword in Castle Evelyn, so there's a start. That sounds like a pretty good party to me. If you can find yourself a Leviathan summon to make that Rydia extra special, you're in super happy mode. Kick her off. Spoon, that's not going to help. But that Earth Crystal might.
That Spoon is a fantastic dart.
It's a fantastic dart, but now you got an extra objective in, so Potato right now has objective 1 on the horizon, and you're, like I said, halfway to that rat tail, so you have a path forward. You're good to go.
Yep. And we might see Potato head straight over to Troya.
I mean, you maybe pop in, check a couple of the quicker checks just to see if you maybe find a harp while you're there, if you feel like double dipping, so you don't have to go there twice. But well, it looks like electing to at least check Hobbs where we know the Tell is standing. Mechalink, as we thought about earlier, is going straight to Ordeals as well.
Yep. You got Cecil, you want to get him online.
I mean, if you're taking him, especially at this when the seed's going to be this fast, you got to get him up and ready ASAP.
Also, yep, and since it is K-Main only, we know there's a key item up here.
And if it happens to be that Baron Key, Luca Key, or Rat Tail, you know that Ordeals is required, and that's a spot some people tend to like to avoid.
Yeah, it's a slow check, it's 3 fights.
If you're doing boss hunts, it's a great place, but if you're not doing any sort of boss hunt, you are taking a bit of a gamble. But again, if the gamble also results in you having a nice paladin with a shiny sword, well, you kind of deal with that.
Yeah, you'll live with that.
If you happen to find, like, God forbid, a crystal sword, but even in Excalibur, you kind of look at that Cecil and go, well, I did lose a little bit of time, but it's about to get right back.
That's an interesting choice I saw on Coffee and Chocobo's side. I think I just saw him sell the defense sword.
I didn't catch if he was looking to buy something specifically, so...
I traded it for booze.
That does sound like an edge thing to do.
I don't need this sword. I just need my trusty wine. We're good to go.
Couple of nice pickups in that in those pots, by the way, though. An elixir and a black belt. Not too shabby.
No, can't be upset about those.
Oh, there's that ninja shirt, but if you check, as Mechalink showed us, there's actually just a free one just sitting right in the chest in the early part of Antlion. Which, speaking of Antlion, Fried Potato is actually in there right now, which will actually mean, if I'm not mistaken, that harp is coming. Unless I'm mixing it up.
I believe the harp was from Baron Inn. I think Sandruby came from here.
Thank you, that's correct. We're going a mile a minute here. I'm forgetting things real quick. You got to help me.
got a Dwarf Castle check on Coffee and Chocobo's side. And a little bit of vanilla to start the Dwarf Castle off.
You know, I just had vanilla ice cream earlier before we started this. I wasn't expecting to double dip into vanilla here.
No such thing as too much ice cream.
You know what? You drive a hard bargain, but that's a pretty fair point, so I'll accept that.
In fact, I'd like a little more ice cream. Show us Golbez next.
Well, you do get some chocolate with some vanilla, I guess. Although I'm not sure how I feel about Golbez ice cream. I don't really want to know what ice cream's going to be like if it laughs at you.
It does appear that a potato is going to raid the treasury.
Raid that treasury!
That is a
Oh
that
my.
is a fantastic treasury for this flag set.
What was that? 2 Protect Rings and a Masamune? There might have been something else.
2 defense swords as well.
Ooh!
That is a big swingy for edge, 2 big darts.
You're going into Zot with that setup and you're just super happy. You're beaming right now.
Fiery Blizzard, wave and edge. There's no such thing as too many defense swords.
Look, when you play like a flag set like, say, Supermarket Sweep, and you get stacks of 99, it doesn't matter. There is no such thing as too many.
Yeah, that's...
Who cares if there's 71 left over? They were free.
I mean, you say defense swords, I see 3,000 damage.
I also see a Twin Harp on Pixel side, and whatever we're about to see here on Coffee and Chocobo side from Dwarf Castle, which is... Drumroll, please. Hey, that's another objective. There's the Baron Key.
That dwarf is required.
So we now have everything except for Luga Key. It would be very interesting if Mechalik comes across that in Ordeals and we have every location already set up for us.
Actually, Mechalink already got the key item from Ordeals. I'm not sure what it was.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, it's a rat tail.
Well, okay.
It was lit up.
So technically it is. So Ordeals is
required.
100% required. So we almost have everything done.
We haven't seen Luca Key yet. We've seen both halves of 5. We've seen the pan. We've seen Baron Key. We're just missing Luca Key.
Yeah, we have almost everything ready to go. It's just a matter of finding that Luga Key, and we have the entire route left. But the more important questions have been answered. Who is going to be the first person of this community? And the answer is Pixel Crimes Live, going to Cave Magnus with that harp, getting our first taste of music for this evening.
Pixel Crimes Live, being a runner of the people, giving us music. Even if this turns out nothing, Pixel Crimes has won in our hearts.
That's #1 in my book. Oh, hey, that's a free fight. Potato is just going to be laughing at this one.
And we do see Pixel Crimes quickly throwing an Iron Ring on Rydia. Do you know why he would have done that?
Well, you're going to Magnus. You might want to just be a little bit extra heavy going in.
It's very good. Sometimes the child needs something weighing her down.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes you don't want to have to go out of your way to kind of knock her down to 1 health. It's not very nice.
We will be quiet now and let DJ Spoony B do his thing.
As he slowly climbs towards the harp. Well, there was quite a bit happening there, but thankfully, no one has finished their dungeons yet, so we didn't miss too much. But there are 3 separate dungeons getting finished up here. Oh, the harp doesn't give anything.
Yeah. Somewhere I can hear Harumph cackling in joy. At least I think that's joy.
Well, it's more like angry sobbing, I think. But either way, Twin Harp is done. Coffee and Chocobos is about to be completed. Baron, so that will be Objective 2 done. Fried Potato, in the meantime, is about to finish off Tower Zot here with... Oh! You dropped a Cecil away from the chair, and you just end up fighting him anyway.
We don't have time to deal with Cecil's speeches about justice.
Oh, Cecil also didn't really want to deal with Fried Potato either, as that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But it is done, so we get to see 2 key items back to back. Coffee and Chocobos finds the package at Baron, but at least that was something you had to do.
Yeah, getting that stings less when it's required.
And now we see if Tower of Zot ends up being fruitful. We're still waiting for that Luca key. That's the last item we don't have a location for yet.
Keep chasing. That's what I see.
So given what's left, I have to imagine it's one of the 2 tower checks, is it not?
I think so.
I think that's all that's left, because we've seen Dwarf, we've seen the freebie, and I don't think there's anything left in the Blue Planet check now. So yeah.
Sure,
oh, Rat Tail. Or Rat Tail, that's correct. Fiery Blizzard in chat mentioning that. I always forget about the tail.
Yeah, I guess that's an important check. We might have to look at it at some point.
It might be an objective, you know?
Listen. Objectives are just suggestions.
You know, they're not so much rules, more like they're guidelines.
Exactly, you gotta open your mind to them, man. See, Coffee Chocobo was dealing with computers, so I wouldn't mind dealing with some of them. Just light it on fire.
Yeah, if only it was that easy. Take that strategy into like CPU and say, well, I don't know, CPU, and see how that goes.
Oh, I was referring more to my work computer, but sure.
Well, that's what happens when you try to run Crisis on it, you know?
It wasn't my proudest moment.
Oh, hey, well, there's our Luca key. We have everything. We know where everything is now. Rat Tail's hiding it.
So, do your objectives.
So now it's just going to be a matter of who routes the best here.
And which one of our runners can put all the pieces to the puzzles together. We know where they are, but no one has more than like 3 pieces of it.
Well, and the interesting thing right now is going to be Potato being the first one with Tower Key, because that is a rabbit hole of 2 checks that we now know lead to nothing that you actually want. Thankfully, it's not going to lead you to another dungeon after that.
It's a very good point. And if I were in Potato's shoes, I would be... not make the play Potatoes, thankfully. That's why I'm not running tonight. The addiction to rabbit holes is a thing.
I mean, look, there's a reason I'm not running either, apart from the fact that I got selected from comms. Look. You could give me the route, and I'd still find a way to not optimize it correctly. That's why I'm a puff.
Hey, you put shiny things in front of me. I can't resist them.
Yeah, shiny things are really hard to ignore, you know?
Exactly, they're all sparkly and shiny and stuff. What are you supposed to do?
Well, apparently in Fried Potato Side, fight an inventory boss before that. The most painful of bosses that we'll probably see at this seat at this point. Because given how this flag set is shaped out, I don't see any point now that things are going to get super challenging. Because unless, like, Seal Cave could be a pain, but you have a spoon to solve that.
I'm thinking, what? Yeah, and you can't miss the spoon. So all 4 of our runners will have that spoon going into Sealed Cave.
Yeah, when we said that this is a really beginner-friendly flag set, we weren't kidding, and this is going to turn out to be a really, really quick one, too, if we get some good routing here.
We see Pixel Crimes going up ordeals that will... Fortunately, we'll discover this is required. And the biggest trap, I think, could come up to seed if someone decides to fade ordeals, because we do have quite a few people who aren't going to look at it.
Yeah, it is generally a check that people avoid. Also, it's interesting how, like, the 2 notorious fades are one of them required and one of them not, so it's a matter of, do you do ordeals, do you do harp? Because harp's not going to give you anything, but ordeal certainly will.
It's a tough call on a flag set like this. And they're both K-main checks, so, and with how easy you get the harp, they're effectively equally weighted.
Yeah, you're essentially gambling every time you play the seed, because you really just don't know. It's not like, you know, you taking a dive into the moon and taking a guess at a boss, or you're not guessing like maybe, you know, the basement in Baron has something. It's literally just, you know, everything's in front of you in a very small amount. It's just a matter of, can you pick the right one at the right time?
So, I did catch before, but Sylph's giving us a black shirt, saying, "Here, use this. Give this to Ridius so she can cast this a little bit better."
I mean, given the party setup on some of our runners, I don't think Ridius is even necessary for that. You got edges just throwing stuff. You just got a cascade of just, well, I can't even say daggers, just a cascade of things getting flown. Everything but the garbage can.
We'll find a way. I think that may have been fixed in Free Enterprise.
The beauty, though, of this flag set that we're seeing is that all of our runners are not sticking to a formula. Like, everybody is doing something different right now, and it's been like that for most of the race. So it really tells you that there really isn't a wrong way to start. It's just a matter of guessing the right one. And I honestly can't even tell at this juncture, like, who's guessing the best, because we have, like, bits and pieces of this entire seed in different people's hands right now.
And I think the only real rabbit holes are the Twin Harp and the Tower.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would say that Potato and Mecha Link are in the lead just based on objectives, but again, if you take a dive into one of the places that are going to hold you back and somebody doesn't, all of a sudden this race is completely different. And I honestly can't even tell who is in the lead right now because, like I said, everybody's in a different spot with different items. It's really hard to see how this routing is going to turn out.
And given what we see here, I could very well see Coffee Chocobos just doing Twin Harp right now.
Yep, very possible. Because as again, it's like we mentioned earlier, if you're going to get both, you double dip. So it's a hard one, but I mean, you go for it and you hope it pays off. And we know that one is required, so it doesn't matter if it does or not, and the other is not going to at all. But what does pay off is that treasury that Mecha Link just raided and found all the fun edge darts as well. I didn't even notice the crystal ring in there, so there were 3 really good rings in that treasury.
Yeah, give everyone some nice defense, give Edge a good weapon, a few things to chuck.
So I'm looking at the key items for everybody right now, and you can see a bit of the difference again. Like we have on the bottom half, we have Mecha Link and Pixel Crimes with the Luca key, but they don't have the Baron key that both Coffee and Chocobos and Fried Potato have on the top half. So again, there's that deviation of some people have different things. So the routing is all completely different here.
And that goes into another popular fade, Dwarf Castle.
Mm-hmm. I mean, given that it's a blue planet flag set, it's not nearly as easy to fade all of these things because you all can almost guarantee that one of those major fades are going to be required now. If this was, say, a K-Moon or a K-Summon key item seed, this would be far different, but because it's K-Main, you almost know that you have to make some of these checks that you normally wouldn't right away.
And that's part of the point of the flag set, is force people to go down those routes. We have Zot, we have Sealed Cave, which are also checks that a lot of people don't like because they are long.
Yes. I think that is a big part of why I do like this specific flag set, because because it's really easy and I appreciate that, but also because it does teach you to think a little bit more differently, because I'm so used to those K-Summon and K-Moon seeds where you really have to kind of optimize things as best as you can, whereas on this flag set, it can be over so quickly if you take the right guesses that you just kind of go like, okay, well, I'm really close to this right now. Maybe I should just check it.
Right, because you know every check's going to pay off. Sometimes with items you want.
Yeah, I mean, you've only got 17 key items, and you have a very limited amount of checks because you're taking away all the major Summon and Moon ones. So, you know, the math's there. You make a check that one person wouldn't do in the first, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you might have an edge over them. And I say that with not even the pun intended, for once.
Oh, we all know you really intended it.
I wish I could say I did on that one.
Yeah, the interesting thing here is see which runners decide, take the Twin Harp dive, which don't. Right now, I think that's the only real problem we've seen everyone runners run into.
Well, Coffee and Chocobos may, because he'll be done Zot shortly. If I'm not mistaken, I think King Queen Eben was the first in the Maga Sister spots, so for Mecha Link, Twin Harp isn't an option.
Correct.
So that hole is not one that Mecha Link has to worry about yet. So depending on what Mecha Link decides to do here, may avoid that entirely. But you are getting the tower key in response, if I'm not mistaken, so that is still a rabbit hole you're going to have to deal with.
Right, and it's 2 checks there, so some runners might be tempted by it.
And if you think about it too, if Mecha Link, say, goes, well, I might as well do Sealed Cave first, because that's an objective, and hope for something different, and now you're sitting on one objective left, you're gonna look at that tower key and think, well, that's 2 cracks at a Baron key, I gotta do it.
And that would make perfect sense. You're already, it's highest percentage play. You're already there. Oh,
and there
no.
we go. We just,
Potato.
Yeah,
Don't
we just mentioned the tower dive, and there it is. You knew it was coming. You knew somebody was going to eventually get trapped in it.
Oh, Potato, don't follow those rabbit holes. Rabbits eat potatoes.
Well, and we'll have 2 more runners potentially ready to fall down that rabbit hole, so we'll see. And soon to be 4, because Pixel is also in about to go into Tower Zot as well, and does have that harp, so can definitely fall. But Coffee and Chocobos did not take the harp check, but instead fell into the other trap, avoiding one trap, falling into another.
You can't dodge them all.
Well, while we know we're getting a mostly uneventful break here, take a second to shout out our runners once again here on the stream. Coffee and Chocobos, Fried Potato, Mecha Link, and Pixel Crimes Live. Make sure you give all of them a follow. Also, our restream team here, obviously myself, CS Radical, and my co-host Engine Dave, Scala Kitty in the restream booth, and Fiery Blizzard in the tracker position. So far, a really, really interesting run, a very generous start, and now the rabbit holes have begun.
Yeah, this is the nice intense part we like, where it's which runner puts all the pieces together.
And that's going to be it, right? It's just after falling into the traps, who falls into the least? That's kind of where it's starting to take here. Who's going to fall into the least number of traps on this seed?
To answer a question, chat from Apex Corbett, there are 21 runners tonight. Oh, the good news is hook's not required, so none of our runners are falling down that trap.
I mean, if you really wanted to shop, you could. You probably won't, though.
And we all know that the characters are incapable of avoiding that pitfall.
Well, Mecha Link's returned back to Baron Inn, trying to get some vengeance on that. What was the second fight? Oh, Dark Elf.
Dark Elf.
Getting some vengeance on that Dark Elf, and is going to be rewarded with a Twin Harp, ironically enough. And that's another rabbit hole. So, hey, the hits just keep on coming.
Okay, so Dark Elf was actually trying to be an intelligent villain. You know, there's always... You know how villains always have this one thing they're weak to and you have to go find it and you can beat them? Dark Elf was like, how about I hold the thing on me so no one can use it?
Yeah, but you probably should have gone to the place that no one would have gone to, and I guess Dark Elf didn't make his space flight.
That's where the trying came in.
Although, depending on how this shakes out, I think, based on a canon, I'm pretty sure Dark Elf probably lost that fight to Antlion.
Very good point Ribbon Quest makes. Dark Elf wanted a drink first. I can respect that.
Fair. Yeah.
You know, one for the road. Whale, flight, something.
Well, after downing Odin, Coffee, and Chocobos, walking into the super cannon, taking care of that with incredible ease. I didn't even see which boss that was. That was so fast.
It was D-Lunars.
Ah. Always love to see a boss that I hate in the super cannon spot.
Not entirely sure how they're operating the cannon, being they're mostly bone.
Look. Those are questions you don't have to ask here. The question some of our runners are going to ask are going to be, why did I just spend 5 minutes doing this tower when all I got was an adamant and a pink tail? And I don't even get adamant armor.
Yeah, what a ripoff.
So with the amount of checks that Potato has left, what is missing here?
Twin Harp. Twin Harp is the answer.
Trap number 2. Well, I guess we know how much our runners don't like ordeals.
Yeah, they're committing to the fade. Which, if you decide to fade something, you got to commit to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose in at least Mecha Link's case, having that Cecil made it much more incentivized, whereas I guess Pixel just went on a gamble there because the 2 edges and well, I guess with the Tele you wanted the spells. I guess that makes sense. So both of them had incentives to go out there.
We do see Coffee and Chocobos going up ordeals. That is going to lead him to the rest of the puzzle.
And Mecha Link is down in Seal Cave, so we're going to see our first number 4 off pretty shortly. But still needs that Baron key, so still some work to be done on Mecha Link's end, while Coffee and Chocobos is getting very, very close as well, just needing that rat tail. And we know where it is.
It's come from right here, and that will lead to the Luca.
Yeah.
So it's a straight line for CNC to finish this.
So if you were to take a guess, CNC looks to be in the driver's seat.
We do have a reprise of the music coming up.
Yeah, I guess we can give the viewers a break from our annoying meme-worthy voices, and we can give them another encore of this piece of music. All right, another harp down and another trap failing.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Well,
Someone's dead.
When we did mention about how, you know, Seal Cave might be the last chance to give some problems, well, that might be one of them.
Oh, this spot has very high magic. Fortunately, I believe Top Cecil has a protect ring on, and they seem to be focus firing that one.
Well, at the very least, it means when Coffee and Chocobos inevitably gets that Luca key and comes down to finish their part of the race, they're going to have to work for it a little bit.
I believe Top Cecil also has a rune axe on, looking at the...
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Rune axe kind of makes this a little more bearable.
And some fantastic luck on from Mecha Link. The Scissors have all decided to pick on Top Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
Including
Well, that
throwing a wall there.
Easy.
Including throwing a wall there so the charm couldn't hit.
Yeah, it definitely makes that fight a little less stressful, doesn't it? And I guess with a little less stress, too, we got both Coffee and Chocobos and now Fried Potato up on Ordeals, so we will be completely finished finding that rat tail.
Yep. Coffee and Chocobos will follow one of the mantras of Free Enterprise, do your objectives, and we'll find Go Mode.
Now, this is the downside for Mecha Link. You don't have warp. You're going to have to make the long walk, and an even bigger upside for Coffee and Chocobos, you don't have to worry about warping out because there's no Z fight. As soon as you're finished in Steel Cave, you're done.
Yep. Basically, the final battle for CNC and Fried Potato will be those Magus Sisters.
So you don't got to think about walking anymore. So you're just going to the end. Mecha Link still has to get back up on top of the blue planet. And do you remember where the Baron Key was? Because I've forgotten.
Dwarf.
Yeah, you still got some work to do then. Yeah, unfortunately for Mecha Link, that's a lot of time you still got to spend there. And it doesn't help when you have to spend all that extra time walking out of the Seal Cave.
Coffee and Chocobos picking up the Luca Key, doing pretty much the only play available at this point. Go finish the game.
I mean, there are other plays available. They just aren't good ones. You could go to the moon if you wanted to.
You could, or you could look in the race room and see that no one has finished yet. So,
I mean, you also could go to the Fame Arch, you know, have a little fun doing an extra bonus boss fight. You know, like you play a Final Fantasy game, there's certain fights you don't have to do, but you could do it anyway.
Or while you're in the cave, you could hit the rope of shame.
Yeah.
Come on,
I don't even need to ask who's done that. You know what? There you go, in the chat. Who's done that in the last 24 hours? How's that?
No comment. Like I said, no one has finished yet, so we could see a first place finish on stream.
We certainly could. We're, I want to say, less than 3 minutes away from that confirmation, so we'll know real quick. This could be, even if we're really quick, sub 45, but that'll be really tight though.
It comes down to what weapons does Coffee Chocobos have. A mute knife, and has he thrown all his good stuff yet?
Yeah, if you got good enough, well, if you got the spoon, you can just quickly throw that at Cindy and it's over.
I got some bad news about that.
Yeah.
I saw him chuck the spoon at Bigan.
Well,
To be fair, Bigan's kind of a jerk and had it coming.
well, you got a minute and a half to see if you can really whittle them down that quick. But otherwise, we'll see how much time Coffee and Chocobos has, whether or not he's going to be our first finisher here, because it is clear as day that as long as this fight doesn't make it hard.
That's a problem. I see precisely one dart in CNC's inventory.
Ooh.
And Dancing Dagger is not a good dart.
Ooh. Well, all of a sudden, this is going to be interesting now, isn't it?
I have questions. What is that Edge wearing?
I'm just going to go on a limb. I'm going to say clothes, and that's the best I can offer.
That was a 200-point fire 2 from a very high magic power spot.
That, on the other hand, hurt a lot.
That's closer to what I was expecting.
Oh, another rope of shame there on Pixel Crime's side. Oh, a second. Those ropes have just no chill. No chill.
You need all the ropes.
Speaking of no chill, all the magic spells there. So I guess one edge is able to take the damage, and the rest of the party is not. Definitely not.
Bottom edge might have a ninja shirt and a pro ring on.
So all of a sudden, this boss battle for Coffee and Chocobos is way more interesting.
Yeah, maybe throw in a ribbon too. Potato deciding to turn into Pinktail too and find something very nice there.
What was it? I did not catch it.
That was an X-Gal.
Ooh, that is very
Or
nice.
as we're looking at right now, about 5,000 damage.
Yeah, that might come in handy.
I think we're about to see it lodged in one of the sisters.
And I'm assuming that means Coffee and Chocobos didn't even take the time to do it while he punched in the rat tail. So you're going to be regretting that decision suddenly.
I didn't. Well, I looked in his inventory and didn't see it.
Yeah. So oh man, this could be really interesting now. If Potato can get there quickly enough, there's a shot here.
Yeah, if you saw through the dart menu, Dancing Dagger was the only thing in there, and that's not a terribly good dart.
This is going to be very interesting now. If this fight continues to be a struggle for Coffee and Chocobos, this could actually be a lot closer than I thought it was going to be a second ago.
So
And especially when Potato avoids the rope of shame, we got a chance here.
So Mechalink, having had the Rune Axe on Cecil, had a much easier time than we're seeing with our other runners.
Yeah, we'll see what Fried Potato comes up with here. As he's about half-ish way down get to that boss fight, so we're getting there. I didn't pay attention to Coffee and Chocobos' inventory, so I thought this was an all but done deal, and all of a sudden we may have a real tight finish here, folks.
No, I'm thinking CNC wants that spoon back.
Well, I think we know what our question might be when we get the chance to talk to CNC if we do get an interview, so there's definitely bullets in that chamber ready to go, as Potato is about to go see the item that does not matter before we get into that final fight.
But it's, thematic. You get the crystal right before the final battle.
Well, here we go. Now Potato is in front here. Now after another reset from Coffee and Chocobos, here we go.
And we look through the inventory over here. I know you've got at least an Exile dart. I don't think I saw Potato throw the spoon.
You got an X-Cal. That's a perfectly good start.
Yeah, 5,300 to start this off.
It's not enough for a kill, but that's certainly a better advantage than what Coffee and Chocobos has been having. So we'll see. Is there anything else there? Yeah,
That's the spoon.
Yeah, that'll do it.
To Cindy.
That will be more than enough.
Oh, take it out by 12 damage.
I shouldn't have said anything.
The sisters knew what was up.
And now just begging to get that's just to get Cindy down here, just to avoid that last bit.
And what makes this worse is if that dart had already been queued, that spoon is gone forever.
But Cindy is down. And Coffee and Chocobos is now resorting to trapdoor grinding.
You gotta do what you gotta do. We see Rosa getting charmed. That was the best possible target.
If you had trapdoor grinding on your bingo card this evening, I'm calling BS on that. There's no way. And that's gonna do it. So we're just waiting to see the confirmation. And unless somebody snipes us at the last second, we have our winner.
Fried Potatoes in 49 minutes. That is a second place finish. We had Harumph finishing in first place with a time of 48:05.
I'm very glad that I didn't pay attention to that room, because otherwise I would have not talked like we were on the edge of our seats. But we have our first two finishers and our winner on the stream in Fried Potato, and we will be getting an interview shortly, so we will be ready to get you folks that in just a moment.
Meanwhile, Coffee and Chocobos appears to have finished taking a mini grind.
And we're still waiting for Mechalink and Pixel Crimes to find that Baron key they're still waiting for, so...
Well, Mechalink will be getting it very soon. Just finished Dwarf Castle.
Yep.
But by that dinging, we are joined by Fried Potato. GG's Potato.
GG, hello. That was fun.
It was certainly a lot of fun to commentate on. The amount of deviation right off the bat with everybody, not to mention... You and Coffee and Chocobos, unbeknownst to you, had a real back and forth here towards the end. How are you feeling in the early stage getting that magma key right from Bedward?
It scares me. I don't generally do well when too much is open early, but because it's just K main, I felt a little better. I knew what I wanted to do with it right away, and it kind of worked out. I only had to double dip Fubul, which was required, so... No, I guess you could go... No, yeah, you'd have to go twice, so...
Yeah, you couldn't avoid double dipping Fubul.
Yeah, so... I feel good about that.
You're checking freebies. Nobody blames you on that when you have everything open to you. You want to do the least amount of work right at the start. Why not?
That's my general opinion. It also let me avoid doing like an overworld like Eblin loot dive, because I could just go underground, and luckily Feymarch, the first chest was trapped, so I could just loot the whole thing. Going through, and that got me set pretty well for the rest of the seed, really. So, and then the Earth Crystal shortly thereafter was a super nice bonus.
That was. So when you're running a seed like this, you know, it's just win game. You start with edge. What kind of things are you prioritizing that you may not be in a fight where you have to fight Z?
So I don't prioritize character checks generally. I've gone through the first one I went through these. I went through most of the overworld with just 2 characters. I tried to just stay on task, you know, go to things that are going to give me things that are going to win game. And anything outside of that falls kind of to the wayside. Like, I only checked Hobbs because it was kind of on the way. And I'm glad I did, because Tell is nice to have. And then I just, a few good items or some darts. And I did some shopping, especially after I got second edge, to see if I could get him some weapons, or the ninja stars I found turned out to be pretty useful. So.
And there's also an advantage too with character checks on a flag set like this, that you don't really have to think too hard about it, because you start with arguably the best one you're going to get on a Blue Planet flag set, not to mention Max Party 3. So you can pretty much have a party you're already set to go with right off the bat.
Yeah. I really like I would run most of the seed with Edge if it was possible, you know. Luca gets a little spooky.
Oh, it certainly did for some of our runners.
Oh, I bet. Especially like knowing now that Rat Tail was at Ordeals, like people would have probably hit Luca earlier than I did in the overall scheme of things, so they might have been less leveled, and it was already a little risky for me. I probably should have targeted down the front sister first, but I just went for the middle sister.
Oh, and that was a good strategy because that stops the front sister from using level 2 elementals.
Yeah, I knew like these spells are going to hit hard, at least on the edges. I had more protect rings, so if I needed to, I could have reset and thrown one on another edge and been fine. But I'm glad I didn't need to reset.
Dave, do you have any more questions here, or we got any last memes for this?
One more thing. How about that treasury?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it didn't have the best things, but a massa is enough, really, to go, through most of the rest of everything. And then all the darts I could need to dart through the free DKC before he started talking, so.
Well, otherwise, GG again for your second place finish overall, but winning the restreamed race here. Any last comments about this flag set or this specific seed before we let you go?
I love this flag set. I'm a big fan of Go Fast, Wind Game, Edge, all of the above, T Wildish. So this flag set is definitely one of my favorites. It's been great getting to race it on the community races. Thank you so much, Dave and CS, for commentating, and everybody for restream and tracking, and everybody involved. It's always a blast. Glad to be here.
And thank you for allowing us to restream. Can't put on a show without that.
No problem. GG, everybody.
Yeah, and GG's to Fried Potato. We also have another finisher on stream here, as we had Mecha Link finishing second on the stream, but 6th overall. Just to give a quick update, Dr. Cossack finished in 3rd, Y2 Sky in 4th, and Dipwood in 5th. And speaking of Mecha Link, we are joined by Mecha Link. GG's, how you feeling?
I mean, 6th, virtual 4th. If my console hadn't been a jerk, I feel fine. Like, I don't feel like you do dwarf before tower, given you getting the tower key when I did. Like, I don't, like, I think I made odds plays, and, yeah.
You're checking K-main stuff on a K-main only seed.
Yeah.
No one can fault you for that.
It is inevitable there are going to be traps.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is, but, like, when getting tower means that you do tower, right? It's a 2-for-1, right? Like, you do your objectives because you have to, and it pays off. In theory, I could have had a weaker party and kept the Rydia for warp, which is a small time savings, assuming that you can get the kills as effectively. I could have been faster on darts, because I haven't done this heavy edge seed. I wasn't as fast on the draw on darts, but I felt like my inputs were solid. I felt good about, like, again, I got by Pan, right? Like, Pan, it's where Pan can be anywhere except Fabul, and what I did was fine, and Pan was in Fabul. Just, yeah, got me. He got me.
So, if I'm not mistaken, I think you ended up being the first one on stream that went to Ordeals. I guess it was really easy for you to make that call, considering that you got that Cecil and Baron in. I'm sure that's the only reason you probably went there first. Was it something you were planning on avoiding before that?
Oh, no. I mean, so it's, if you're trying to avoid Fabul, right, like, Ordeals is a reasonable play. It's K-main, so Ordeals does have that push against it, right? So it makes some sense to kind of fade it in general. But I might have, with the early Magma Key, I might have considered it. But, and I mean, if I'd done Edward first and gotten Magma Key, right, like, maybe. But, I mean, given that you couldn't beat Baron in reasonably without, picking up a dart, Antlion seems like a reasonable choice. You don't need to loot extra, right? Like this isn't that we have T Wildish. This isn't that sort of seed, right? So, right, like you didn't see me go out of my way to loot anything, except for I grabbed Treasury when it opened up. And I think that's basically fine on T Wildish. And what did we get? Right, like, and so we do Antlion first. We loot a little bit there. You know, we hit a full moon, I think there. And, that's fine, right? I guess I'm a little skewed because of the last tournament, right? Like that kind of, you know, all you need something to start you off and you're good to go. But yeah, so yeah, that's what ended up. I mean, and then getting Cecil is just like, okay, like do Ordeals, right? Ordeals is reasonable. So like it's not skipping Ordeals is a nice time save if you can get it, but I think that especially with Magma Forced, I think it's not particularly surprising if you end up doing Ordeals anyway. Just because. Yeah, old K main stuff, right? Like skipping Ordeals.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. What have I asked yet? How did you feel overall, just in terms of like the routing that you were taking? Were you finding that like things were kind of flowing the way you wanted to? Were there a few like odd spots where you're kind of like, why didn't I think to do that? Like overall, did you think the seed was kind of giving you good, decent direction, or were you kind of getting thrown for a loop at certain points?
No, I felt good. I mean, and you know, we ended up going pan into Zot with sealed on the table because Rat Tail, right? Like we got Rat Tail into Hook into right, like, and then sideways we got Pan into Zot, right? And Luca Key in that mix too. So like that was all really great. And so then it was kind of like, okay, right, like is Seal gonna give me Baron? No. Is Tower gonna give me Baron with Tower Key? No. Right, like so it was kind of at the end, it was kind of like, okay, are we like, is this War for Twin Heart, right? So it was a case of like at the end where it was kind of the one last thing, right? Like that was where it was kind of like a little tense, which is, you know, makes a lot of sense. But until like before that, right? Like it was all just kind of, you know, like place to place to place to place. There wasn't really any uncertainty. Like I said, the big thrown for a loop is that Fabul had the pan, right? So I set up for the standard pan is anywhere but Fabul style underworld checks of your freebies, and Pan's in Fabul. So you suck it up and you go and talk to Yang again.
That's all you can do when that happens.
Yep. I mean those were the biggest loops. And then yeah, we got something that Edge couldn't beat without a dart in Baron. If I had seen the Dark Elf before the console had flipped out, I would have not gone back in. So like just if I'd give me a few more seconds, game, and I would have saved that time. But yeah, other than those three things, I feel like that's just what this seed is going to do. And like I said, I could have darted better, more effectively, but I did do a good job of resetting to conserve darts in the top of tower case. And I bought a Thunderclaw even though I couldn't realistically use it with the way my party was set up. I didn't think that far ahead. Having him in the back row with no back row glitch on meant that I had to replace either the thing that was getting me back row or Murasame, and neither of those is great for a Thunderclaw replacement. Right, so could have thought a little farther ahead on that one. But minor things, but yeah. It looks like we have other finishers, so if you don't have any other questions,
yeah, we'll let you go.
All right, thank you all. Thank you for watching. Hope it was entertaining. Thank you for interviewing and restreaming. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, cheers, GG's, and thanks for the run.
Yeah, GG's.
So with that, we have 2 more interviews lined up. We're waiting to see Coffee and Chocobos, who finished 7th. And we will also have Pixel Crimes Live, who finished 15th. So all our finishers are done. And we are joined by Coffee and Chocobos. GG's.
Yeah.
So I guess right off the bat, how bad you missed that spoon?
Well, as soon as I selected it on the back of Ordeals, I thought, I hope I have to do the harp and I can just reset out of this. That was a little silly. And I've been burned by Maga Sisters in the sealed cave before. On this flag set, in fact. So, yeah. Could you tell I was getting a little tilted there?
Yeah, we could see the tilt. Is that what pushed you doing your trapdoor grind?
Well, the trapdoors, just the fact that the tier 2 elemental spells were hitting my damage edge for more than his max HP, I knew I needed a little bit of a boost. The tilt was keeping the Thunderclaw equipped a couple of times. I swear I thought I saved with it on afterwards, but maybe I missed it.
Well, aside from the obvious pain that was the Mega Sisters at the end there, how are you feeling about the run for the previous 40-ish, 43 minutes, I think it was?
I'm pretty happy with how the rest of the seed went, except for Tower being a big whammy, and the fact that I went to Sylph Cave to tag Yang, and then I go back and get the pan from the King of Fabul. That's always a little bit of a shame run. Not as bad as running down the lunar subterrane to go to Z, but you're all set to go up to Sheila and get your freebie, and then here's this item that says, nope, you need to not only do that for another item, but for an objective.
Well, you weren't the only one on stream that felt that pain too, so it's quite all right. We did have a couple of people having to make that pan walk, so.
Oh, I believe it. With early Magma Key, it's so tempting to go and get Sheila 1 out of the way.
Oh, absolutely. Dave, you got anything?
I don't think I have anything else. We covered the big things.
Let's see. So, on a flag set like this, here's a good question for more beginner runners. Like, a lot of people obviously can get very, I guess, worried when it comes to more of the open flag sets when you have K-Moon and K-Summon. Like, what do you suggest for newer runners when they see things like this that it can be a lot quicker and a lot more like condensed into one smaller package?
Suggest, well, especially with an edge start, you want to really lean into the strengths that he has. He starts at a higher level. At least on these flags, he's got his decent gear right off the bat, and leverage the fact that he can dart, drain swords, drain spears. Slumber swords are like a discount drain spear. If you can find slumber swords sitting around, it's great to buy a small stack of those. Just kind of lean into the strengths, and you can sweep the overworld, and don't get into the trap of, hey, you got edge. Let's anchor with somebody slow all the time. You definitely want edge sitting as your anchor for the overworld, so that the overworld bosses don't take any turns. I notice a lot of newer runners tend to hang on the fact that an anchor is a good thing all the time.
Absolutely. With that being said, any last thoughts about this specific seed, or do you want to just get out of here so you can go probably fight a really easy Maga Sisters and just get a lot of vengeance on her?
I'm gonna channel my inner edge. Maybe I'll go hang a dartboard and throw some darts at it for a while.
Yeah, no one would blame me on that one.
Have fun with your darts.
Will do.
So that one more time, GG's Coffee and Chocobos, and we are now joined by our final racer on this restream, Pixel Crimes Live, aka Raging Levine here. GG's, how are you feeling after this flag set?
Thanks. I'm feeling pretty good. I did some practice earlier today and earlier this week, and while I did not meet my goal of getting done in under an hour, I feel like I had a lot of fun. I feel like I did well. I think this is my second best time on the flag set.
Hey, that's good to hear.
So going in, getting that early Magma Key, I asked Potato this right at the start, how are you feeling about getting basically the entire blue planet that you need, because you don't need the moon, even though you did get it right off the bat too. How are you feeling with everything open up to you right at the start?
I actually had a practice flag set where I got Magma Key from Bedward, I think yesterday or today. And so I felt like I had things pretty set. The only thing that I would have done differently at the very beginning was I would have done Fey March before Sylph Cave, because after I did Sylph Cave, I was like, oh, this is going to be the time that Pan is in Fey March, and I feel real silly. But other than that, I think that's great, because, you know, Edge with when he comes with actual gear, since we're not on C Neki, can pretty much tear through a lot of checks really fast. So that lets me get access to a couple of freebies, two key items in Fabul pretty early on, maybe 3 if I get lucky and hit the Pan. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, and especially too with, actually, in all honesty, the sea was really generous early on in getting a lot of items out of the way. With the Baron Key being the one that was your biggest Achilles heel here, how are you feeling as you kept getting checks, like say with the tower coming up with nothing? Just, you know, what were your thoughts in just like getting that moment of, oh man, it's gonna be the last thing I do, isn't it?
The thought I had as, you know, the airship was coming down at the end of the at the end of the tower cutscene was like, if I had just kept this Rydia, I would have done Dwarf Castle a long time ago, and we'd be done with this scene by now. But sadly, she was yeeted early on. So, but yeah, I mean, I like to fade Dwarf Castle if I can, since it's 2 bosses, and then you have to watch the hand crawl around for 1,000 years. It just takes so long. So if I can dodge it, I'll dodge it. But, you know, I got bit by my choice to go for Harp and fade Dwarf Castle instead.
Yeah, it was really interesting how the sea decided to make a couple of the notorious fades for some people pretty like things you had to do. You had to do ordeals, you had to do Dwarf Castle. And a lot of the checks that people generally will make, because Tower is a good 2 key item check, led to nothing. The only unsurprising trap was Harp, thankfully. You know, thankfully we got what we wanted for most of it. You were the first one to check it, so we appreciate that. You're number 1 in our book.
I try to give the people what they want.
And we can't ask for much else. Any last thoughts? Or Dave, have you got any questions left?
And so you're a member of our Pink Puff League, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I started playing about a month ago.
Okay, so it's good to get. So from a newer player's perspective, what are your thoughts on a seed like this, where it's just go, go, go? You don't have to worry about Zeromus.
I think it's really it's a good way to sort of learn what your capabilities are. One of the things that I found this flag set really helpful with is, because I'm doing so much attacking with edge, and especially just attacking with one edge and parrying a lot with other characters early on, it's actually really helpful for memorizing the HP in different boss spots. I think this flag set has gotten me a lot better at that. So when you're not trying to focus on, okay, what do I need for Zeromus? What do I need to prepare for that? I need to check all these shops and figure out all these things, because the loot is so generous in this flag set. You can just focus on improving other parts of your game, and I think that's really cool.
That's very well put.
So yeah, with that being said, as we get close to winding down here, do you got any last thoughts before we let you go?
I just want to thank, once again, I'm sure this has been said, but I want to thank everybody involved in the broadcast, all of our, you folks here in the commentary booth, our tracker, our restreamer, and as usual, everybody who makes this whole thing possible. It's a great time and a great community, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks as well to you for giving us a great run. GG's, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Likewise.
Well, with that being said, that's going to do it for us. We almost had a complete sub-hour race. This was exactly what we advertised. It was going to be quick. It was going to be just a speedy seed, and we got just that. Dave, take her home. What are we doing?
Yeah. So, we're done here, but Free Enterprise isn't over. We'll be heading over to Scythe Marshall, who is playing some Mystery Seeds. And remember, we just mentioned Pink Puff, which, Pixel Crimes is a member of the club. The Pink Puff League, our beginners club, will be doing a restreamed race on Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, make sure everybody checks that out. And on behalf of the entire Restream team, everyone enjoy the rest of your day and or night, and we will see you on the next Restream. Take care.